We're going to call to order the City of Kingman meeting of the Municipal Utilities Commission this Thursday, August 24th, 2023. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes, Chair Van Oosting,
Present.
Vice Chair Dimmitt,
Present.
Commissioner Boffman,
Present.
Commissioner Custer, Commissioner Retberg,
Present.
Commissioner Wigren.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is the approval of minutes from our regular meeting on June 22nd, 2023. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second? We have a second. All those in favor of approving those minutes? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved. Item 2, consideration of public comments. Do we have anyone in the public that wishes to address the council or the commission at this time?
We do not have any comments.
Thank you. And brings us to the new business. The review and recommendation for exception to the requirement to connect to sewer. Staff has received a request for a sewer variance from Christy and Don Summers for 5 parcels located on Northfield Avenue, east of Bank Street. The applicant plans on building single-family residence on the parcels. Do we have staff to represent?
Good evening, Commissioners. As mentioned, this is a request for an exception to our requirement to connect to sewer. We've received a request from Christy and Don Summers for 5 parcels located on Northfield Avenue. So up on the screen here, I have the parcels highlighted in yellow. It is near the intersection of Northfield and Bank Street. As you all know, the utility regulations require the property to connect to the public sewer system when sewer is available. The definition of available is if the property is within 500 feet of an existing sewer main. So there's an existing sewer main here on Bank Street, so right here in green. And so it falls within the 500-foot requirement. It's to the nearest parcel, it's about 240 feet away from the sewer. So due to topography, when I looked at this, it looks like we could probably only get 2 or 3 lots to connect because of the depth of the sewer main. So the topography in this area generally is sloping towards the east. And so the sewer is coming up, and so there's kind of a countergrade happening. So when I was looking at it, I think they could probably extend to about this location here and get to our 3-foot minimum cover that we require. So in theory, they could probably get these 3 lots connected on their property, or to the sewer. The other 2 probably would not be feasible, but ultimately some design would have to be done to verify that. I guess I would just note that there's 5 other properties here that would potentially benefit from the sewer extension. Those are under different ownership. It's not the applicants are not the owners. And so an option for the applicant would be to, when the sewer main is extended, they could request a payback agreement from the city. that would allow the city to receive a reimbursement. It would be prorated based off the frontage of their property. And so if any of those properties were to connect into the sewer system, they would have to pay a prorated amount of the construction that was the cost of the construction for this project if the line were to be extended. The payback agreement remains in place for 20 years, and so that's kind of a long time, so there would be a chance to possibly get some reimbursement back in the future. So as we reviewed this, the recommendation from the city staff is that a sewer extension be made in accordance with the regulations to the extent where it's feasible to serve the lots by gravity. So that's a brief summary on this, and that's our recommendation. If there's any questions, I can certainly answer any questions you might have. The applicants are here as well, so you can, and available if you have any questions for them.
I have a question. As far as the 20-year payback, obviously, I'm assuming they're building these 5 houses to sell.
Sorry,
I assume that they're building these 5 houses to sell. So
I'm assuming so.
how would they get paid back over 20 years?
So the agreement would list them as the installing party, and they would have to give us their contact information.
Okay.
And so and as long as that doesn't change, or if they move, then they'll need to contact us so that we can update the information. But when someone connects in the future, we have a record of it, and then we would send the payment to them.
Okay. How long has that sewer line been in that's on bank? Do you know, by any chance?
I can probably tell you here. Oops. Since 1995.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm prone to just not approve a waiver. I mean, it seems like 1995, that's been plenty of time to do due diligence on any type of investment that you'd expect to have to tie into a sewer line. So I can't support it.
I got a question. You said you think that they might be able to get 2 to 3 of those parcels connected. And what happens if an engineering drawing comes back and they can only get 1 parcel connected?
Then they would only need to get the one. So we wouldn't want anything to be less than our minimum 3 feet of cover. And so the way we wrote it is, to the extent that it's practical to make it work by gravity, that's how far we would ask them to extend it.
Okay, so you're hoping for at least 2, you're thinking maybe 3. The other 2 at the end would be on septic then, those would be permitted for septic. Okay.
As the sewer extends, I think north, is it plans that the sewer can keep extending north along bank, or no? As people tie in and expand, and to the west?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea. As certain areas develop, they would have to keep extending it north as long as it works gravity-wise. So we had a similar situation just north of here where these 4 lots here had to connect, so they extended it up here and connected up here.
So I understand where the sewer main couldn't extend because of the requirement for 3 feet in depth. But if they're all developed at the same time, could the properties all be engineered such that they could share connections on the properties to that furthest point of the sewer?
So we would highly discourage that.
Okay.
Just because if these are sold off later on, then you got someone else's sewer service going through your property.
Understood.
And that creates some conflicts in the future.
Are there any other questions for staff? Would the applicants like to say a few words, or would you like to address the commission at all?
Hello. We have the lots and we'd like to build houses on it. The price I got to extend that sewer was over $100,000. And that's just not possible for me to spend that kind of money to attach to the sewer. The price, the last septic I did was $7,000 was the price that I was charged. So that makes it possible to build the houses. Price-wise, it's just too much money to invest in the sewer. If I was hoping to do the 5 houses and improve the neighborhood, and the other neighbors are all on septic. But I know you have your regulations, but I was hoping to get a waiver so I could build the houses, and that's you said you had a question?
Well, I just. Sorry. Since 1995, have you required people to hook up to the sewer? Okay.
I can look and see exactly when it's been there for a while.
Okay. We weren't informed of that, unfortunately.
So I had a question for you. In your letter that you wrote to the Kingman City Council, you stated that the amounts that you received for estimates were between 70 and 100. So is that accurate, or is it over 100?
The person that gave me the quote for 70 is not doing it anymore. He had some family issues and he's not doing it. So yes, it is over 100.
Okay.
So any idea what it would be if you only had to do the first 2 lots instead of all 5?
I don't know. I know a lot of it was because they had to go onto Bank and close off Bank and get traffic control, and that's the main street. So that's the most expensive part is there, for what they told me. Yeah. So I don't have a quote to do just the 2.
And
They
you got,
also told us just the slope was not doable, really, for that. So this is the first we've heard that two of them or whatever might possibly be able to be hooked up, so.
Yeah, and the letter we received said that 2 of them were possible to do, and the other 3 were not possible to run. So that's, to me, either we can either just do 3 septics on the 3 that aren't possible, or we would have to wait till somebody else runs sewer from the other direction to tie it, to use those others, to get the other 3 on. So it's a time thing, and I don't know if anybody else has plans to do that.
and you guys have had these lots for about 3 years, 3.5 years?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Okay. And during the time that you were looking at buying them and through your due diligence, did you talk to the city or the county to find out any of this? Did somebody lead you a different direction, or?
We did go down and ask, and they said you're required to put septics in, is what they told us.
The county.
The
County,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they said you have to be on septic. So that's what we went forward thinking that's what we were gonna do, and we got ready to start them. And she went down again, and they said, no, you're not septic. You have to tie into the sewer within 500 feet. So that kind of threw a wrench into our plans, so trying to work it out.
Did you get anything in writing from the county?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for the applicants?
Yeah, I have one. I don't know if you've considered reaching out to the other property owners to see if there's any ambition on their part to connect to the sewer. It might be difficult to reach out, but have you had any attempt to do that yet?
No, I haven't. A lot of them are vacant lots. And across the way is an air conditioning company that takes up a big portion of it. I know the people on the further side, they don't appear to be able to afford to tie into sewer from their, he told me his swamp cooler went out and he can't fix a swamp cooler, so I doubt very highly they're gonna be able to tie into the sewer. All right.
Cost is definitely a factor in that area for a lot of people.
Are these going to be site-built homes, or are you putting in manufactured?
Site built.
Site-built? Are there any other questions for the applicants at this time? Thank you very much for your time.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Are there any other questions for staff?
Just how deep is the existing sewer at that manhole?
Based off the as-built, so take it for what it's worth, about 6.5 feet deep.
And I also have a question. Is there contingency if it comes back that you can't even reach to the first parcel, that this gets revisited or something to that effect?
So if something comes back, an engineer looks at it and they can't even get it to the first lot, it doesn't need to come back. We can just say, okay, you're done. You don't need to extend.
And sorry, one final question. The business across the street, would they be able to reach the sewer if it was available, or
You're
they're probably not
talking
incentivized to it? Yes.
This here?
Yes.
Yeah, so they would be, if it extends, let me see if I can get a better, so if they extend to, say, here, I don't know if this is their office here, so maybe not. Maybe this one wouldn't, because it would have to come a little bit further over for them to connect.
And if it was available, would they have to connect? Would they be required to at that point?
So that would be up to the county to enforce. So our utility regulations basically say if there's something like if they need to pull a permit to do any new work, redevelopment on the site, or if something goes wrong with the septic system, and if it's available, then they have to connect. Since this is out in the county, they have a little bit different rule, so it would be up to them to determine whether they would require a connection to sewer.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. Last call for any questions. Anything else? Would anyone like to make a motion to either approve or deny the variance?
I'd like to make a motion that the sewer extension it be made in accordance with the utility regulations to the extent where it's feasible to serve the lots by gravity. Per staff recommendation.
Okay, we have a motion to deny the request for variance. Do we have a second? I'll second that. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it. The variance has been denied. From my understanding, this goes to City Council now for a final vote. Okay. Next order of business, item number 4. Are there any other announcements by commission members? At this time, it's limited to announcements, availability, or attendance at conference and seminars, requests for agenda items for future meetings, and requests for reports from staff. No items? All right. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion,
I'll second it.
and we have a second. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Aye.